What do transformers, wax, and tests have in common? Let's talk about that. Yeah. Premier Protein, not a sponsor. V8, not a sponsor. Anyway, so what do transformers, tests, and wax have in common? Well, I'm going to tell you. Anyway, wax, you ever put your finger in wax and it like conforms to your finger and then you pull it off, you're like, ooh, that's what my fingerprint looks like. I don't know, maybe I'm just the only one who does that. But then I used to have these toys called transformers. They would be cars or trucks. You would roll them and then roll out transformers. That's what Optimus Prime used to say. And then they would change into these robots. Like they would change from a car to a robot. Awesome childhood. And then they came out with new ones and ruined my childhood. But anyway, the old transformers were really cool. And then tests. You know, everybody loved tests in school, right? I don't know one person who said, yes, I love tests. Please test me. Now, I knew somebody who would like ace them or they say it was easy. But I never really said it. Nobody ever told me, yes, give me more tests, please. But sometimes we need to test other people to see where they're going or if they're true or if it's accurate. And so you might not like the test, but it does help in the long run. So what do those three things have in common? Well, when we in our lives, when we conform to something, it looks like wax. When we conform to it, we don't want to really be our own individual. We want to be like somebody else. We conform to that person or conform to their ideas. And then a lot of times our minds are not transformed in the right way. We transform them in a different way, and it hurts. And then we test those things that we transform into, and we're like, oh, this is not working. This is not fulfilling me. This is not giving me the things that I wished it was for. But then God comes along and he said, look, Jesus is true. He's taught these things. They actually work. And then in Romans chapter 12, verse 2, it says this: do not conform to the pattern of this world. So don't be like wax. Don't conform to it and look like the world, which is selfish and sinful and doesn't care about other people, only cares about their own desires, about the I, it's all about me. The world, hurt people to step up and do what you want to do. It's all about desires and feelings more than logic and reason. Don't conform to that anymore. Be different. Be so different that you're not like a wax that rolls around something. And then it says, but be transformed by renewing of your mind. So your mind is a wonderful thing. If we can transform it, if we can change it into something that thinks of God first, others second, yourself last, that you're a servant of everybody, that you give without, reason, that you love without condition, that you're peaceful, that you have self-control, that you think logically and thoroughly what God would want to do first before you do it. Think before you act. Those are the transforming of your mind. That's a daily battle. That's a daily choice. And then he says, then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is. So how do we test and approve what God's will is? Well, we don't conform to what the world looks like, and we actually transform our minds to what Jesus was thinking about, serving others. I mean, good grief, Jesus washed Judas's feet that was going to betray him and give him up to be murdered. And then he says, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. Everybody comes to me and says, Frankie, what's God's will for my life? That's between you and God. Look at the Bible. He has everything there for us to live a wonderful and great life. And so, let me read the whole thing in common. So here's what wax, transformers, and tests have in common right here. Ready? Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. I love you. Jesus loves you too. You have a great day. Challenge yourself to change your mind before you speak, before you serve, before you do anything. It's a daily transformation. I challenge you to transform your mind with God's will. Love you. Bye.